Hello everyone. Let us enjoy and analyze the poem The Small Towns and Rivers written by Mamang Dai. Mamang Dai is from Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh. She writes in English as well as Adi language. The poem Small Towns and Rivers is taken from the collection of the poems The River Poems, published in 2004. The poem describes a landscape and nature where river is a dominant phenomenon. Through the concepts like river has a soul and river knows immortality of water. The poet makes us aware of the lively nature around her hometown, Pasighat, and the eternity of the natural elements. She finds that even life and death are transient or impermanent. The poem is based on the belief of the tribal people from the northeast that the souls of the beloved ones always continue to dwell in the natural elements around. So she remembers death when she sees the towns. The towns, she implies, have prospered when nature has been destroyed. The poet has expressed anxiety at the development in the small towns. So, wherever there is development, there the nature has been destroyed. That is why she is very much worried while seeing the towns, and she is looking towards the towns in anxiety. Let us read the poem. Small towns and rivers. Small towns always remind me of death. My hometown lies calmly amidst the trees. It is always the same in summer or winter, with the dust flying or the wind howling down the gorge. The poet's own hometown is described as being peaceful and calm among the trees, and it remains unchanged throughout the year. The town's appearance and atmosphere are always the same. The poet recalls a recent death in their small town, and the entire community mourned together in a terrible silence. The second stanza, just the other day someone died. In the dreadful silence we wept. Looking at the sad wreath of tube roses, life and death, only the rituals are permanent. Just the other day someone had passed away. The whole community mourned in dreadful silence. Looking at the sad wreath of tube roses, the abundance of natural resources, it is very clear from the line, the wreath of tube roses. And looking at the sad wreath of tube roses, the people are sad, not the wreath of tube roses. So that sadness from the people, it is moved into the wreath. So the figure of speech used here is transferred epithet. The next line, life and death. There is repetition of the words and there is alliteration also. Only the rituals are permanent. So here, the death, grief and mourning symbolized by the wreath of tube roses and the constant, almost everyday news of demise or losing life in the town. In this way, life and death are recurring events. Only the rituals performed are the same and unchanging. The third stanza, the river has a soul. In the summer, it cuts through the land like a torrent of grief. Sometimes I think it holds its breath, seeking a land of fish and stars. The river has a soul. The river is personified here. Third stanza focused to the river, describing and depicting it as having a soul capable of feeling and reflecting the emotions of the landscape and representing a living force rather than just water. Because in the summer, It cuts through the land like a torrent of grief. The riverbed will be with lots of cracks, and she thinks it holds its breath, seeking a land of fish and stars. The line river has a soul is repeated in the next stanza also. So the figure of speech is refrain. This can be asked. In the summer, the river will lose all water content, and she is very much worried about the people because she cannot provide water. So the river beds are cracked and it is with full of cuts. It shows the torrent grief of the river, and she wishes when she will be able to hold land of fish and stars. The river has a soul, it knows stretching past the town from the first drop of rain to dry earth and mist on the mountain tops. The river knows the immortality of water. The poet describes the river in the summer as a torrent of grief, echoing human suffering, yet it persists as an eternal force that knows the journey of life. The river knows stretching past the town from the first drop of rain to dry earth and mist on the mountain tops. The river knows the immortality of water. A shrine of happy pictures marks the days of childhood. Small towns grow with anxiety for the future. The dead are place pointing west. When the soul rises, it will walk into the golden east, into the house of the sun. A shrine of pure and happy pictures about the childhood. It is recalled by the poet, and at the same time, the small towns always grow with anxiety because the nature is getting destroyed by the people. And when a person demise or passed away, his head will be placed pointing towards the west, because when the soul rises from his body, it can directly walk into the golden east. That means in the house of the sun, the heaven. This stanza focuses on the permanence of the river compared to the failing nature of human existence, highlighting the river's role as a witness to the cycle of life and death. The reflection on the desire for spiritual peace and hope of walking with God in the afterlife, offering a serene and peaceful life among the nature and divine forces. The tribal people believe that, see, after death, each and every soul will get dissolved in the nature. So they want excellent nature because they can walk with gods. The poet reflects on their childhood, remembering it as a collection of happy memories, like a shrine filled with pictures. They know that while the past is cherished, small towns are always filled with a sense of worry about the future. The poet describes a specific funeral custom. The dead are buried with the face in the west direction. This ritual is based on the belief that when a person's soul leaves the body, it will travel towards the east, which is referred to as the house of sun, the heaven. The poem concludes on a hopeful note, suggesting that life finds its true meaning and purpose in a spiritual connection to nature, symbolized by the cool bamboo and sunlight. This is a poem written in free verse, and at the same time it is a reflective, philosophical, natural poem. It highlights the human life is temporary, the spirit of nature and the cultural rituals are endure and permanent. Thank you for listening.